All right, here we are. Welcome back to the country called us. For those of you that are new, excuse me, those of you that are old, we're about. For those of you that are new, we are a family that's moving from the city into the country setting, looking to start a homestead. This channel is right now based upon us preparing to move from the city to the country, to the homestead. We're posting things about the tools and budget and things we're going through before we move to start our homestead. We'd like to welcome everybody. No one's here yet, but only we got one person so far. But that's who we are and what we're about. Welcome back if you're old, and welcome if you're new. Uh, Hit the like button and subscribe. Come back. We got a lot of videos. We got videos coming out. I have a video we filmed yesterday that I'm gonna put out tomorrow. I have another one coming after that. Already planned out and ready to go. So we're gonna be getting her done. 1 second here. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Sorry we're late. YouTube doesn't like me today for some reason. Well, it doesn't like me last week
I
either.
was gonna say it didn't like you last week either.
I have it all set up and it decides it wants to do its own thing. It erases all my stuff. Same thing. It erases all my. So today we're going to talk about what people thought of us when we decided we were going to make this journey from the city
What's up,
to
Lisa?
Homestead. Hey, Lisa, thanks for stopping by. Today, like I said, today we're going to talk about how our friends and family reacted to the fact that we wanted to do something crazy like this and leave and start a raw homestead from nothing. And so it should be pretty good. Again, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the chat. If it's after the live, hey Tim, thanks for stopping by, bud. If it's after the live, leave them in the comments section. Love to see comments. Love to see your questions. Anything you want to know. Um,
We know, Jason. We know, buddy.
Well, we know we are crazy, but you get that from me, so you're just as crazy as I am.
Listen, you're going to be a part of this too, so that makes you crazy too.
Right?
What up, Ian? Okay, I don't think the chat needed to know that, but okay.
What did you say?
Bathroom, be right back.
Oh, speaking of family, everybody here is pretty much family. You about to go crazy? Canvas. Oh, yeah, I hear you. Computers, technology, it's all the same. It's supposed to work good for you, and then it always just makes things worse. But like we're saying, everybody drop a like in the drop a like for us. Subscribe if you're new. Let me get all this switched over here. YouTube doesn't seem to want to like me lately. I set it up last night so it would have a preview and let you know when I was coming on, and I guess I deleted everything, so I had to go back through and reset it all up. What's up, boys? EMPN. But yes, so to get to the main story here, basically, I'm not going to get into it. We don't do political things, but I'm sure everybody knows everything that's going on in the world today is one of the reasons why we made the choice that we made to want to be self-sufficient. Um, Again, we're not going to get into all that political and things like that, but there's things that are going on that are just off the wall crazy. And we feel that being self sufficient, having our own space, our own land, being able to, provide for ourselves food, water, electricity, everything on our own, um, we'll be better off. We decided that as we've seen a few things happening and as more things keep happening, we decided, this was the journey that we were going to take. And, as crazy as we are, as crazy as people think we are, um, as again, it's for a good reason. We feel. Um, what did I say?
I don't know. It's not
Teacher
popping up.
emailed me and said that I'm pretty much. Well, yeah,
That one didn't pop up in my live chat.
yeah, I know because I have it. He used a bad word.
Oh.
Can everybody go and hit the thumbs up for us, please, guys? Please, I'm asking you nicely. But back to what I was saying. A lot of things are going on in the world today that we don't like, and we feel that that we moth. Whoa. Are more self-sufficient, that anything can happen and we don't have to worry about it. We're all, living in this world, in this country as Americans.
We always have to worry about something, but if we have our own piece of land out in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to be, I don't want to say it's not going to be as bad, because you're still going to have everything that's going on, and you're going to have emotions about it. You're going to have feelings about it, but we can do our own thing. We can do, whatever we want, and we don't have to worry about the world outside.
Right. And the world outside will be.
The world outside is going to be there regardless of where you're at. But
it'll be what we make it mostly.
Right.
Goes for all my children. They may be older, grown, over 18 on their own, starting their own families, what have you. But we want, to make.
We want to make sure that you're safe
and have this opportunity for them also.
The only thing in this world that we have is each other.
Listen, when I was in the military, I was taught two things. I don't fear many things in this world. I don't fear, adversity. I don't fear work. I don't fear people. I don't fear anything. One thing I do fear is my legacy, the legacy I leave behind for my children, and that's a big deal. So when we decided we wanted to do this, that was part of my thought process. I want to leave behind something for them, something for their families. Of course, everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody,
oh God,
probably still does think we're crazy.
You have no idea. Get to ask the question, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? I want to do that because I'm ready to just say the heck with it all. And there's seriously, I mean, what I, my family is what's most important to me, and protecting them and making sure that they're okay. That's all that matters. Listen, my family does think I'm crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people think anybody. I get emails, I get messenger messages, I get text messages. Anybody that finds out or that I tell that this is what we want to do, the first thing they say to me is, why? Why would you want to do that?
And the second thing that most people say is, it's never going to happen. No, this is going to happen.
You know how much hard work it is. Do you know how much, it costs? We went over this in a couple of different videos. So if, you're new here, go back and check them videos out. Live videos we did. But second question I get most of the time is, How do you plan on, because I would like, obviously at some point in time for all of my kids to be there or visit, whatever. It'd be better if they lived there, with me, and we could all, work together in a big community, make our own community. But that's up to them. I'm not gonna, put that on them. I, you know, everybody wants to know how you plan on living in a one-room shack in the middle of the woods with a wood stove as your heating your cooking source.
That's not that's the cliche of it all. That's not how. Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, we won't have very much, but what we have, we will make do. And we've done it.
And we can make do, and we can make things,
Believe me, we've done it. We have a 12-man tent that the video that actually we just did yesterday that's going to be coming out soon. Go take a look at that. We have a 12-man tent that we ended up going camping for a whole month in the rain, in the sun, in temperatures almost 100 degrees. We camped in this thing for a month.
Yeah, we was in there for a while.
And we had the amenities, we had cable TV in this tent. We had a TV that had cable.
We had internet.
We had internet.
Water.
We had water. We had, we had a place to shower because, yes, it was a campground, but still.
But again, in future videos, you'll see how we solved that problem, with the new homestead. Like we talked about electric before, again, in another past video, live stream. There's multiple ways to get electricity. You don't have to have on-grid electricity. You don't have to have on-grid water and sewage. It takes a little intuition, but you can figure it out. But most people always think the first question is they automatically assume you're cutting down trees and building a one-room log cabin up in the middle of the mountains, 1,000 miles away from everybody.
With a dirt floor.
And fighting off the bears.
No, that's not.
The second question is always about how are you going to afford it? How do you afford your life now?
Just because you're living off grid doesn't mean that you can't go get a job.
And we may not be completely off grid at some point. If we can get we can get electricity, which a lot of places you can get electricity brought in. We may use grid power for certain times of the year through the winter months, but not completely. But when it comes to water and sewage and electricity, if we don't have anything, they're not an option to have those things. We have found ways to to work that out, and we're talking, again, we talked about before, only being 45 minutes away from a big city like Pittsburgh or whatever, where you have Walmart and Home Depot and a nice hospital and what have you. And then, another question people ask all the time is, do you realize how much hard work it's going to be? Yes, I do know. I know how much work it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of work, and we're up to that. I'm not afraid of work. Neither is she, And Jackson, he's ready to go, boy. He wants to go today. If we could go today, he'd be ready. He wants to.
If I could pack up and leave today, I would.
He's ready to get it going. He wants to get working and building. He can't wait to learn things. And the other kids, I hope will want to be a part of it and come help and put in some time and see that how much more fulfilling it is. That's the other problem. That's another thing that I want to discuss with you today is when you get to be a certain age, which we're not going to go with ages right now, but you get to a point to where you've done a lot of things in life and you're just kind of on cruise control and you're not as fulfilled with life as you were when you were 18, 19, 20, just figuring things out. once you get to be our age, you start to figure out all the goods, the bads, and the uglies of life, and you start realizing that this isn't the life that you want. And you're not fulfilled with what you've done, and you want to be able to do something that's fulfilling and fills your life full of joy and happiness. I look around. I can only, again, we talked about, I can only do so much with my yard here, with my house. In a situation like that, I can do so many different things that I can't do in the city limits. I can have so many different things I can't have here, and that's a big thing, is fulfillment. You feel fulfilled knowing that you're creating your own. That you started from a flat sheet of paper, with a blank sheet of paper. What?
The dog.
Okay.
Whining.
You start with a blank sheet of paper, and you end up with whatever it is you want to make. And some people, that doesn't intrigue them. That doesn't it's not something they want. They enjoy their life. They enjoy the amenities they have and the life they live, where they live, and that's wonderful. But there's people out there that want to experience. Hey, there's my boy, the Bode. You're spilling my coffee all over the place. The Bode spilled my coffee, guys. Come here, the Bode. Hi. He was in the house, huh? You was in the house. You didn't like that, huh? Come on. Oh, look at him. Everybody say hi, Odin. Say hi, Odin. He's trying to look back at you guys.
I don't have any hands to pet him. All right,
and he
go.
Another thing, he loves being outside. We love being outside.
He hates being cooped up in that house. I'll tell you that.
Being cooped up in the house. He'll come out here and lay in the sun and sunbathe. So it's just a family decision. Is it crazy? If you'd have told me 10 years ago that this is something I was thinking about doing,
yeah, I would have said you're crazy.
Right. I would,
at first, listen, I'm going to be completely honest. At first, I did tell him that he was crazy. But the more and more we talked about it, the more and more we,
researched it,
looked into it.
We had the same outlook everybody else does. Like, why do we want to?
Why do we want to live in a one room shack with a dirt floor,
like a hermit, not see people ever, and
and the more we researched it, the more we found out that that's not what it is. It is, living off grid is what you make it.
Right. You don't have to be, secluded from the world. You can be a part of it, but that's the nice thing about it, is you can be a part of the world and you can be
not a part of the
world all in the same day.
You can stay on your land for weeks at a time and not go and see anything in the world. You could go out and about every day. You make it what you want to make it. Listen, I work 5 days a week. When I'm home, I don't want to go anywhere. But I know, because I've got to go grocery shopping. I've got, there's doctor's appointments that need to be done. So, you have to do what you have to do. Like I said, I would rather live out in the middle of nowhere with nobody around me than be surrounded by everybody.
Right, but that's the thing about it, is you can do so many different things. And it's not about everything else. You have freedom. You have everything you want right there. You have everything you need. And like I said, and with everything that's going on around us, it makes it easier for us to want to do it. And to be honest with you, just yesterday, 2 days ago on the train, yesterday on a college campus. Listen, this world is not the world that we grew up in. It's not nice. Not that it was ever nice, but it's not the same.
And I get a lot of people telling me that, way back when we were growing up, they say that a lot of things never happen. You saw it on the news and what have you, and now you have the internet that shows you all the bad in the world, and that's what people are judging it off of. Listen, a lot of bad things are happening in this world. A lot of bad things. A lot of innocent lives are being taken for no reason. And it's just coming to the point where if you're off grid and you have your own piece of land, yes, it's still going to happen. But if you're not living in a city life,
you can detach from that society.
Yes, you can detach yourself from it, and I don't want to say not worry about it, but you worry about it less.
Well, you worry about it less because then where your children and your family are safe where they're at. They're not, there's not a risk. Hey, Cheyenne, thanks for stopping by, sweetie. You're not at risk as much as you are in an area like this. If things go down and they keep going down the road they're on, in the city, even, right on the edge of the suburbs, is not where you want to be. You want, like it's going to be hectic. It's going to be, we don't want involved. When it comes to, all these things going on in the world, we're Americans, we're human. I don't want my family and my children and their children eventually to have to, deal with a lot of that up front. And then that way we have our space that we can go and be a family and don't have that right in our face. So it makes it easier to justify why we, like I said, we can be a part of the society here, and then we got home and all you hear is the crickets and the birds chirping, you know what I mean? And, you decide, you want to do something, you can do it. Jackson wants to get a dirt bike. He wants to ride his dirt bike around, He can. He doesn't have the neighbors yelling, "Oh, get out of my yard," or you ain't allowed to have that on the street. That's the law. Well, this is my land. You know what I mean? Can do that. If my kids decide they want to come stay and they want to build something, to live in, we can do that. They want to, we want to get animals. We want to have another dog. I mean, God forbid if you have a pit bull in the city nowadays.
Right. Everybody is afraid of them. I don't know. Yes, pit bulls get a lot of slack. They do. And let me tell you, my mom had
a lot of flack, not slack.
Flack. My mom had I'm telling you, this dog was dumb. He was a full blood pit bull. His name was Dozer. He was dumber than a box of rocks. He would not hurt anybody, but that dog was a protector. He did what he had to do to protect the family.
Oh, he wants to give out hugs. You say hi, everybody.
Everybody was so afraid of him. So afraid of him. But he was a protector. He would not hurt you unless you were trying to hurt somebody in the family.
And that's the thing, though. Like I said,
pit bulls get a lot of they get a lot of flack for being the breed that they are.
But we're a little off topic, guys, so I apologize. But we are crazy. This is crazy. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. This is off the wall insane to want to do this. But the reward is worth it. Like I said, the fulfilledness, the self-sufficiency, to live, and thrive, is Odin heard a duck. Sorry, I had to grab him before he knows he didn't knock my laptop over. He likes chasing birds. He thinks his friends want to play with him. But,
he tries to play with the striped cat every night.
The striped cat, he calls it a cat. It's a skunk. He's been sprayed before. But, we are crazy. And anybody that thinks like us is crazy. And there's communities out there all over the country that you won't even realize. Hell, we didn't realize that, this was such not a trending thing, but like such a big thing until I got on YouTube and Googled it and really got into figuring out this is what I wanted to do, and start looking it up and researching it, and you know, I seen all kinds of people that you wouldn't even imagine to go to work every day, have normal jobs, and come home to 20 acres, 30 acres, you know, and that's how they live, you know, and that's just that's how they choose to live. You go to Walmart or Sam's Club or Home Depot or whatever big box store you want to bring up. It's all right there in your grasp. You know, and people always assume that you're antisocial, which we're not antisocial. Do we like people? No, not really. No, of course we love people, but sometimes you want to get away from that. You want your space, and that's a way to have space. That's a way to have your own. You don't have someone right beside you or right across from you, or and if you go, somewhere where, like, again, we talked about where they have low restrictions and codes are lower. You can do your own thing. You can build what you want. You can have a freedom that you're supposed to have as an American, and that's what it boils down to, is just wanting to be free. Like I said, listen, if I don't mow my grass every Wednesday, I get a fine. Even if the grass don't need mowed, I still get a fine. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can only have two cars parking in my house at a time. You know, that's the rule. I can't have a pool for my son. I can't have a cookout in my yard for my family on the 4th of July. Can't shoot off fireworks. We talked about that before, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, go watch the other videos. You'll see.
Yeah, but a lot of people thought we were crazy, and like I said, again, reiterate on it, we are crazy. It takes a lot to do this. It takes a lot to prepare for this. As you watch us through our videos recently and upcoming, um, you know, it takes time. It's not something you can just pick up today and do tomorrow. You know what I mean? You got to prepare for it. You got to be ready for it. You got to be in the right mindset. And if you're not, then you know you make it a little harder, a lot harder. But it's going to be work. It's going to be tough. It's going to be one day at a time, and that's how we live life, one day at a time. That's how I believe you should live life, one day at a time. Today you have a bad day, tomorrow's another day. You know what I mean?
Tomorrow you can do something to make it better.
Right. I mean, God affords you that next day, then you should want to make it better. And that's kind of how I see it. You know, anybody have any questions? Anybody got anything to say? Because I know everybody out there thinks we are crazy. And we are. Like I said, again, I keep repeating that because I'm in my head. I know I'm crazy. I think about it every day. This is a crazy decision. This is a crazy thought process. The amount of time and effort that it's going to take, you know, is immense. You have to figure out how to get water. You have to figure out, everything.
You got to start from scratch.
And some people that's hard for them to do. Um, Yeah, but a lot of people we talk to, whether they know me or they don't know me, or they know us and they don't know us, everybody thinks that it's a harder transition than what it is financially. Again, we talked about there's ways to get it, to do it on a budget. There's ways to do it with, if you have money. There's ways to do it with no money, little money. I mean, I know you got to have money somewhere, but you know, um, even on a little budget, I mean, it's time to get out of your mom's basement. That's kind of how I feel living like this. You got house here, house here, house here, house here. I feel like I'm still in mom's basement. Everybody's watching me. Everybody in the neighborhood knows when I leave, when I come, when I go, where I work, what my, how much I spend on my car. It's time to just leave that atmosphere, and just be us, where we can feel Like, we can just relax and do our thing and don't got to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? And again, is it crazy? The question is for you to answer. What are you missing in your life? Is the question. Do you enjoy where you live? Do you like having,
And if anyone even say you do, you're lying.
When you move in somewhere in the city, you gotta hope and pray that you have decent neighbors and you can at least get along to the point to where you're not at wit's end 24/7. I don't have to worry. I won't have to worry about that. My neighbor will be, so acres away. You know what I mean? Um, you know, they decide to blow grass in my yard. I'm not gonna have a fit. Now, I mean, you know, it's just too much. And why live like that when you don't have to? Why not live simpler? Simpler, they say, 40 is the new 30. Well, simpler is the new, off, homesteading and off grid is the new simpler. You can save money, you can, pay less. Is it more work in the beginning? Yeah, of course. Anything you do is work.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like I told my son tonight. I told Jason tonight. Listen, there's rules up till you're 18, and then once you become an adult, total different amount of rules. From here on out, from the time you turn 18, rules change, and that's how it works. And we, I look forward to it. At first, yeah, it's scary. Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary. Hell yeah, it's scary. Listen. I think about it every day. And then my other son Ian, what's up, Ian, asked me one time, and I want to cover this. I'm going to cover this in another video, but I'm going to touch on it here. Um, what if I get there and I don't like it? What if it's not what I thought it was going to be? Again, I'll get deeper into it in another video because that's going to be one of the videos that we do coming up, one of the lives. But in that case, that's like saying you buy a house and you like it at first, and then you move in and you don't like it. You don't have the ability to change a lot. You can change the interior of the house. You may be able to change a little bit of the outside of the house, but to do that, you got to ask questions. Not ask questions. You got to ask permission. Excuse me. You got to ask permission from the city, from the county, or the borough or the township. Am I, got to get a building permit? What am I allowed to build? What am I allowed to build? How much room can I? You have to be off the road so far. You have, you have certain right of ways. You have certain distances that you can't build up to. If I don't like where we're at, I can make it different. I can change it. I can scrap it all one day and start over again. We could sell, we start off with 10 acres, 20 acres, and we outgrow it and it's not, what we like. Guess what? Land always is a good investment. It is always increasing every day. The price of land increases. Even raw land with nothing on it. So the minute you put something on it, it becomes worth even more. And you put something else on it, it becomes worth even more. And then, you outgrow it or don't like the area you're in. You could sell it for more than you paid for it and
buy more.
Something different. You're not locked into it like, you are in the city. I mean, you're not locked into your house. You can eventually sell it. But what can you do with it is the question. What can you change about it to make yourself happy? What can you do to cause, things to look different or act different? Can you change your neighbors? Can you change the for instance, if you have little kids, can you change the kids in the neighborhood that run around egging your house all year, or toilet paper in your house on Halloween? You can't change that. I can change that though where we're at. You can't put up a fence. We're not allowed to have a fence here. I'm not allowed to have a space for a dog run, for my dog to run. I can put up a dog run. I can put up a fence. I can put up a locked gate that you can't get through. You know what I mean? And I can move my house back, 5 acres where you can't even see I'm back there. So what you do out on that road doesn't affect me every day. Here, it affects you every day. I can change that. So you ask yourself the question, Are you happy with where you're at? Are you going to be happier in another city with new neighbors that you don't know? Maybe they're decent people. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're got issues and got rats running around, or what I mean. You don't know that. I don't have to worry about that. Like I said, our neighbors will
Mhm.
be acres this way, acres that way, acres that way, acres that way. You know, you know, I want to visit them. It's going to take me 10 minutes to walk over to their house. You know, if I don't like my driveway, guess what? I can rip it all out and seed it, put grass back down,
And move it.
and move it. Can you do that without asking questions? Without asking permission? Not questions. I keep saying that. Without asking permission, you know. Okay, I'll leave it say on there. Also, one of them things. I don't know what this is. But, that's the question. You need to answer for yourself. Are you happy where you're at? Would you be able to make it somewhere like this? Would you be able to do what we're doing, what we want to do, what we're preparing to do? There you go, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. That's Jay Toxic. So the question is, would you be happy with something like that? Could you live? Some people can't live like that. What happened?
Only my kid. Only my kid would yeah. Did you read what he said?
Yes, I did. I
He
saw
said,
the name
make way, I have arrived.
Always. That's I mean, anybody ask yourself that question. If the store was, well, of course they're going to be, obviously there's always small towns. I mean, you're gonna have other stores. I mean, you'll have little stores, little mom and pop stores, little things here and there. But your big box stores will be.
Did you see at the end of his?
Don't forget
the little cats at the end of it in the boxes.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he talking about?
But like, things will always be available to you. It's just up to you. We would like that freedom, that space. We're crazy. We've talked to all you kids. We've talked to everybody that we know about it. And that's the biggest thing I get is we're crazy. Or again, like you said, it's not going to happen. You guys are going to do that. You're just talking to talk. You're going through a midlife crisis, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you need to go to nut ward because you're, crazy. But the problem is out of all the people we know, we're going to be the happiest. Yeah, it's going to listen. Anything you work on is going to, you fix. I don't care if it's your house, your car, whatever. When you're done and you fix it and you look back on it and you look at it and you say, I did that myself. Did that with these hands and look at, because your kid's bike, it's whatever. You look back on it and, you're happy. It makes you feel good knowing that you did that. And, you caused all these things to happen for it to look the way it does now. It didn't look like that when you got it. It was broken down or busted or whatever. And that's part of self-fulfillment. And that's where this comes in at. Again, self-fulfillment, self-sufficiency, a lot of selves in there, you know what I mean? Sounds selfish,
Right.
But it's not. That's the problem is we want everybody that we know and care about to be a part of this. I mean, if they choose to be, fine. If they don't, I still love them. That ain't going to change. But there's a lot of different ideas of what it takes. What are you doing, dog? This dog is crazy.
It's a moth.
Oh, he got it.
He got it.
Okay.
He's eating it.
Sorry, it's on bouncing head around. But are we crazy?
Actually, he's playing with it.
Are we crazy? You answer that, Shane. Are we crazy? No, we're not crazy.
Absolutely. I mean,
listen. Of all people, I hope Ian and Brittany understand us because they have their neighbors are close to them. It's like our neighbors are close to us. Everybody I know, no one I know is a millionaire. Do you know anybody that's a millionaire?
Oh, heck, if I did, we'd be gone by now.
Oh, okay. Well, so everybody I know, everybody we all live paycheck to paycheck. We're all, no one here has got a bank account with, 6 figures in it.
I wish.
So, That's the other thing is, there's ways to make money. Obviously, YouTube, but that's not what we're doing it for. There's other reasons, lots of ways to contribute to your community to make money. You got the chickens, you got cows, you got pigs, you got fruits, vegetables, you got all kinds of different things. You can do. Hell, you get animals. You can do a petting zoo. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Have schools come in and do a petting zoo. You know what I mean? And people sign, to be will be the new zoo for the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Go get it.
Dogs chasing moss again. But, like that's why we like to do our lives outside, because if you look around you, this is all given to us. And it's here for us to use and to take. And what do? We waste it away every day. Every day we waste it away. This beautiful earth that we were given from whatever you believe in, or however you, Big Bang, whatever, Again, we won't get into religion or politics on this channel.
Never.
But it's here for the taking, and it can be used in so many different ways. And like I said, yeah, it costs a little bit of money in the beginning. Well,
Everything does.
All right. When you move into your brand new house, the furniture you had at your old house may not look right in your new house. So you got to buy new furniture, or you get in there and faucet breaks. You got to pay for that. Or I don't like that, that light shade, or, whatever, I want to put recessed lighting in. Or
you may not like the color of
the walls.
The walls. The paint.
I like the color of the outside or the exterior.
Your porch may not be big enough.
You got to put on a deck.
Listen, my porch is going to be plenty big enough.
Why is that?
Because I want to sit outside.
Oh, you want to be one of them old people on them rocking chairs on the porch?
No, I want to sit outside and listen to nature. If it's raining, say you don't have a, like where you live, if you don't have a porch, like we don't have a porch. Well, we have a porch, but we don't have a porch that has a roof over it. I can't sit outside when it's raining.
And it's not very big at all. It's
right.
It's big,
So
as you can see it over here on the side, what I mean?
That's one of my things. That's one of my big things. And that's what, I told him. I said, one of the big things that I want, I want a porch with a roof so that,
No, she wants a deck with a roof. That's not a porch what she wants. She wants a deck. Let's get this correct. What she's asking for is not a porch. A porch is, 12 by, 16 maybe. No, she's talking 20 by 40. She wants a deck.
I want levels. I want my upper level of my deck to be with a roof, and step down and you have another one that doesn't have a roof.
Well, that'll be, Jackson wants a pool, so we got to have a pool. I like water. All my kids like water. Every one of you can admit to that, you know what I mean? But a roof would be nice. A porch would be nice. Just be able to sit out and drink coffee and don't got to hear, gunshots going off.
You don't have to worry about,
who's walking by.
Right. Sitting. Or
if you sit in the wrong seat on the train, if you know.
You don't have to worry about, when it's hot outside, worrying about the sun beating down on you because, you got covering.
Right.
Like I said, when it's raining, you can still go outside and sit on the porch. You're not limited to having to stay in your house because of.
Even if we had a porch here, like I said, our neighbors are literally, I'll show you. Okay, so here's my house. There's my neighbor. Okay, look, you see all the neighbors over there. Now look over here. Okay, riverside there. You got a neighbor right there. You know what I mean? Like literally, if we had a porch, a big enough porch to sit on, you may have to worry about. Wilson's. Oh God, you're so crazy.
Oh, kid.
He's crazy, Odin. Come on, Odin. Him's crazy. But that's the thing. We couldn't build a porch big enough that, well, not for her.
Don't put your foot in my cup of coffee.
They want to see you, Mom.
Come on.
but we couldn't build a porch big
Come
enough
on.
for her. You know what I mean?
No.
Here, I mean,
That's
like I
my
said,
coffee.
even if we could build a porch, you got what, like literally 8-10 foot one way, 8-10 foot another way, and then we're impeding on our neighbor's property. You know, that's rough. Shane, you of all people, you had issues with your neighbors before. You know what I mean? You know, I've had issues with neighbors in different neighborhoods that we've lived in. You know, Tina, I don't know if you're here or not, but you've had issues with the neighbors at times down there with Jackson. We all, have issues with neighbors and people around, and or loud music and 2 o'clock in the morning, or you know what I mean. Ian, we know you had problems with your neighbors, even though they're going to be your in-laws. That's even worse, having your in-laws as your neighbors. You know, when you could come be my neighbor 2 acres away. I'm offering I'm offering it to you. You and Brittany, more than welcome to come. Cheyenne, Sierra, you're more than welcome to come. Jason, obviously, Carly, Dominic, and his girlfriend. Oh, who else am I forgetting? I got so many kids. Yeah, if I forgot about you, I'm sorry. My brain's on overload today. It's been a long day, guys. We've been putting some orders. I put some stuff together today that we ordered, and we're making videos about it. Again, we made a video yesterday. We introduced a new person in the video, so make sure you go and watch and say hi to her in the comments when you see her. Jackson stopped by yesterday, and we decided to make a video, and he just happened to stop by in time for to make the video, so he was excited about that. Um, I want, I wanted let's make basically a space where we want everybody to be happy, we want everybody to have their own, want everybody to be, do their own thing and live normally. You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry. And we can do that with this. That's the problem, is we can do that with this. And why not? It's cheaper. You know what I mean? When you pay on grid electricity, I can get off grid solar electricity for cheaper. Yeah, to build up the solar array and the batteries does it cost a little bit of money. But so over a year, I spend $3,000 over a year for solar panels and batteries. Not car batteries. We're talking lithium batteries. That are totally different. We'll get into that another time because that's another video. But I can get like for $3,000, I can get enough solar panels and enough batteries to run almost 6,000 watt hours in my house, which a lot of you probably don't, unless you're an electrician or know electricity. That's a lot. I can run my whole house 24 hours with just solar power. That the solar power charges the batteries, and you live off the batteries, and you run your house like normal. You got plugs, you got switches, it's all the same. It ain't nothing new than what it was before. And guess what? How much did it cost you? It cost you $3,000 or $4,000 to start, and them batteries and solar panels will last you 10 years. So in 10 years, you spent $4,000. How much have you spent in 10 years on your electric bill? I can guarantee you I spent that in probably 2 years. Maybe, excuse me, maybe not quite that much, but close to it. But, that's just how it works, in this world today. And that's what we're trying to get away from also, again, that freedom to choose. We don't have that choice here. If I wanted to go to the solar here, I'm not allowed. You have to ask permission to do things. I have to ask permission to, put something in my yard. If I want a new shed, I have to, call and make sure I'm allowed. I mean, I could save money, I could save time, I could be happier. Why wouldn't I? So am I really crazy then? Are you crazy from wanting to save time and money? Are you crazy from wanting to be happier? That's the question you need to ask yourself. I mean, work is always going to be work. You're going to work whether it's here or it's there. Either way, you're putting in the time and the effort, So what's the point? Why not do something that makes you happier? That's how I feel about it. Again, am I crazy or are you crazy? Are you the one that's crazy for wanting to stay in that situation? And I'm the one that wants to get out. That's the question. You know what I mean? I know that, as you know, a lot of people do some research. YouTube is your best friend for anything you want to learn. There's thousands of videos, and if there's one video that kind of doesn't appeal to you on that topic, there's another video that does. If you got someone on there that doesn't speak clearly, or has the way they do it isn't correct, or the way you like it, keep looking. I can guarantee you'll find something that you do like, and you'll learn something. And that's why I learned a lot about this situation and this lifestyle and how to do it, and dig my own well, solar power, batteries, um, the works, how to, rerun, dig a tree root out the easiest, how to build a driveway, how to, you know, build my own how cabin, tiny house, small house. I don't like the word tiny house because nothing that I'm going into is going to be tiny, if y'all know what I mean. So let's just be real there. We're looking at building like a one bedroom, have a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, living room, closet, whatever. That's all we need. You know what I mean? And what more do you need? Unless you have kids, then you can build on. But right now, if you live where you live now, whether you rent or you own, you can't build on if you rent. Obviously, you would have to find another place that would fit, your family if it's growing. You would have to, which is everybody knows is hard to do nowadays. As the prices go up and up and up and up and up, it's hard to pay rent. It's hard to buy a house. you know, let alone buy a house somewhere where, geez, my allergies are acting up from being out here. Where you don't want to be. You buy a house and you don't know what's around you or who's around you or what's near you or what have you. You know what I mean? At least this, I know what's around me. Animals,
Sorry,
trees,
guys. I
trees.
had a problem with my coffee maker.
Oh, coffee maker's not working.
Well, it shut down on me.
Oh, I was just explaining to them a little bit about solar and batteries, and it costs you $4,000 to upgrade to this big solar array and batteries that you can run all day and night on. How much, and that'll last me 10 years. How much are you paying electricity in 10 years? You know what I mean? And, about renting and owning is the difference. And, we don't have that problem. If growing your family or you want a friend move in, no joke, Shane, that wasn't a knock, I swear. you know, uh, but, or if have a one of
Come
your
on, Eddie.
older kids or your son or your you know grandkids, whatever it be the case, I don't have to ask permission to build bigger. You do. So you tell me who's crazy. Are we crazy or are you crazy?
Well,
We're crazy, but is this decision
Shane,
crazy?
don't answer that question.
Is this decision crazy, or is your decision to stay there crazy? That again, I can't reiterate that enough. Um, if you have questions, please ask. If you need to know anything, please ask. If you're curious about anything, please ask. You know, Ian told me, Brittany, you really like you really like this topic and idea. So
Yes, the decision is yes, it is crazy, but I mean,
what's crazy about it? What's crazy about it is that we didn't make it sooner. Is what's crazy about it.
right.
You know what I mean? The fact that we didn't choose to do this earlier in life is what's crazy about it. You know, um, like I said, if you have questions or you want to know anything, listen, I've done a lot of research on this topic. I've watched hours and hours and Googled, and anybody that knows me knows that I put a lot of effort into things.
You're absolutely right, Jason. The world is born from crazy decisions.
Yeah, risk is good, Ian. You're right, and that's risk is exciting. Risk is fun. Risk is like I said, in the end, when
you never know if you're gonna seriously be able to do it unless you do take the risk.
Like I tell you kids all the time. I tell my kids all the time. Failure is a learning experience. You know, you can't learn anything unless you fail. You know,
And I'm sure, there's going to be things that we fail at while we're doing this.
I'm like, yeah, I fail a lot of stuff.
What's up, Alex?
What's up, Alex? Thanks for stopping by, bud.
We're going to, there are things that we're going to fail at. But it's all part of the learning experience.
Right. That's, I mean, you can't learn until you do something wrong. You learn not to do it again.
You are so full of it, Ian.
Yeah. No, he probably is risking his mortgage on a Packers game. I was just getting ready to say, of all people, Ian, you take the most risks out of everybody I know. So you should be packing your stuff and be ready to go when we leave here in 7 months. You know what I mean? I got Brittany on board. That's all that matters. I know you'll follow her anywhere.
Brittany, I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's a stalker, Brittany. So no matter where you go, he's coming with you. You might as well just get over it.
Right?
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Alex, again, we talked about this, Alex. You and your family are always welcome. You know what I mean? You're family to me. You're like a son to me. I want all my family to feel free to come and live this lifestyle. And even if you don't want to live with me on my land forever, you know what I mean? Whatever. Come and check it out. We got the.
Oh no, where'd it go?
Oh boy, what happened?
There was a lightning bug.
Oh.
And I dropped it.
Okay. Yeah, her and her bugs. You see her at work. She's talking to the frogs. She names them the skunk.
I have a frog at work. He is my guard frog. His name is Frog Nando.
Because she works as a security guard, so he's a guard also. You get it. You should make sure you know.
Hold on a minute, guys. I'm going to show you this cute. He's the cutest little thing you ever wanted to see.
Yeah, you have to.
Everybody.
Uh-oh. Look out. Here comes Frog Nando.
Frog Nando.
Frog Nando, the security frog.
I don't know if y'all can see it.
Yeah, get closer. Turn it that way. There you go.
This is Frog Nando. He is the cutest frog you ever wanted to see. And he makes noises when I pick him up.
Look, all hell Frog Nando.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, listen, she got the skunks chasing her, falling down hills, and she's freaking out.
Shane will know this one. I sent this one to him the other night. I was doing my rounds.
Oh, the possum. You
turn
sideways. You turn sideways. It's going to get better.
See that little thing right there? He came out to see me. My friend at work, she calls me Snow White.
Who's your friend at work? She's here. She can say hi to her.
No, she left because your voice was putting her to sleep.
Oh, my voice was putting her to sleep?
Yes, that's what she said.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
My friend Lisa, she calls me Snow White because anytime I go to work, I literally have a slew.
You say Jewy Jr.
Jewy Jr., right? Anytime I go to work, I always see skunks, raccoons, the possum. The other night, a skunk scared me because he literally rolled down the freaking hill head over feet. And I swear to God, it sounded like a grown ass man walking through the woods. Scared the crap out of me until I seen him rolling down the hill.
Because she works overnight, and where she works, she's going to do rounds around the steel mill. And there's, not really woods, but there's some trees and, things that they can hide in, and animals galore. They come out.
They come out of the woodwork at night.
Oh, go.
Scare the crap out of me. But I call Jeff all the time. He gets so annoyed with me. I call him and I'm like, oh, look.
Oh, I know. I got a monotone voice. It's all right. I'll deal with her later. Don't you worry about that. Lisa, if you watch this later, I'm coming for you.
So, yeah.
We were putting you on the hill, Lisa, because of, who do you say? What's his name? I can't remember his name now.
What?
Lisa, we're putting her on the hill because, why were we putting Lisa on the hill? I can't forget why you said we were putting Lisa on the hill.
Oh, because of Nicholas.
Oh, because of Nicholas. I know.
Because of Nicholas.
I
We're
wasn't
putting
sure
her-
if it was because of Tim or
we're-
Nicholas.
No, we're putting her up on. See, Lisa wants to come with us too, but I told her that she would have to go way, way, way up on the hill because of Nicholas.
Yeah, so we're gonna put her up on top of the mountain.
Way, way,
way
way,
up
way
on top
up
of the
there.
mountain. You know, now you don't get to the top of the mountain. Okay, you know where you get?
We're gonna put you down in the creek.
Right there, you go. That's good right there, right down in the creek with all the snakes and turtles and frog. Well, wait, you might be down there with her too. Then, if that's the case.
Listen, I like frogs and turtles and snakes and yeah. Listen, guys, I have this phobia of spiders. But ask Jeff, you have no idea how many.
She's a pet spider at work too.
I do. He's right outside the bathroom.
He says hi to her when she goes to the bathroom. Yeah.
I have this phobia, but with my phone, I can take a picture of it and it'll tell me if it's poisonous or not, and they're not. The ones that are all around work they're called orb weavers, and they're not poisonous. But every time I go to work, something happens to his web, and he is remaking his web all, and it is absolutely if you just sit there and look at it, it's absolutely awesome. But don't ask me to play with them. I'll stand there and I'll look at them and I'll watch them. Okay, really, Shane? Really? Really?
Man, allergies are killing me.
Yeah, listen, my son knows my phobia with spiders.
And Ian, I saw your post about Brittany. Well,
Charge, Spider Army, charge!
When you watch this, Brittany, you just remember that I told you Ian's a stalker, and when you come to stay with us, he'll follow you. Don't worry. And even if you want to get rid of him, he's still coming. Sorry.
Don't worry. I'll have my kid charge the Spider Army on Ian. Brittany, you can stay, but Ian can go.
Yeah, you and Brittany can stay together. Me and Ian will live together. There you go.
Oh, you okay? Sorry about that. Yeah,
wait. Hold on. I have to
you just stuck your foot in your mouth.
See, that's what happens when you're compulsive. You don't think about what you're saying.
Right. Right.
Man, now he's got proof it's on video.
Right.
That's like verbal contract.
Right. Exactly.
But yes, guys, we're crazy.
Absolutely.
And we want all of you to be crazy with us. And anybody that wants to start this journey, or has the idea of thinking that they may want to, that's what our channel's about. We want to show people, what it takes to prepare. I go on YouTube all the time, and again, I talked about this before. You have a new channel, you have a lot of new people starting homesteading, and they say, the title may be, preparing to homestead, but they're already on their homestead. They already bought their land. They're already living there. There's nobody out, or very few out there, that are, showing what it takes up to the land, up to what you do before you get there. So a lot of people just think that it comes with the territory. I was crazy once. They locked me in a rubber room with rats. The rats made me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But there's nobody out there showing you what it takes to prepare beforehand. What you should buy, what you shouldn't buy, which again would be, we worked on a little bit of that on one video, but we'll get back to that in another video, another live. What you need. I mean, honestly, we're going with a tent to start off with. It's going to be summer. We're going to go in the end of May next year. We're going to, if everything works out the way we want it to, we're going to start in the end of May once Jackson gets out of school, and we'll have the summer months to start, building a structure for us to live in, a hardwood structure, trailer, camper, a shed to home. Again, I don't want to call anything a tiny home, because anything that I live in is not tiny. I wouldn't fit anything tiny. So, but be looking forward to our videos coming out. We got the tent video coming tomorrow, and then there'll be a thing this weekend. I'll film another video, which will come out probably Monday, on some of the things that we bought some things we have, and some things we bought. We still want to show everybody what we're using to.
We have a what is it, a 10x10 screen tent?
Yeah, it's a pop-up screen.
It's a pop-up screen tent. We're gonna be doing a video on that. That probably won't be till next week, until I'm off again. So,
but this weekend I'm going to film a video.
Yeah, we've got a couple things coming.
Well, a couple things we're waiting on the other half for it.
Yeah.
Before we can do the video on that.
So yeah, I mean we got some videos coming. I mean, you guys stay tuned and
I promise you, we will show you what it takes to prepare to start a homestead from the city to the homestead, and we
literally from scratch.
From scratch. Listen, I mean, it takes time and effort, and that's what life's all about, though. You know what I mean? And you want to be happy, you want to have these things, then you got to do it the way it's got to be done. And then once we move, which will show you moving day.
Oh yeah,
I promise we will show.
Oh, don't worry, we will be going live moving day.
You know, we'll go live moving day, which is in, again, be looking forward to that at the end of May. May, right? Yeah, May.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep thinking March. No, it's still cold in March. Whoa.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
I
guess he's crazy, just like the rest of us. Yeah, so I guess he fits in.
He just running up and down the steps like a crazy man. Wow. What are you doing? Don't you run up
No, you're going to spill my coffee.
He's going to knock the laptop over. he's going wild, man. But yeah,
Did you drink my coffee?
So I promise we'll.
Is that what happened?
Always crazy. Yes, always crazy.
I think he drank my coffee.
Come on, Odin. Come on. You want to say bye? Bye. So we're going to be leaving, guys. But we promise, again. Whoa.
Right? Exactly. We'll settle for nothing less.
Right. That's, listen, this is, something that, so there was a car making a U-turn in the middle of the highway up there. That was weird. But, so we're going to show you all the preps that we made up to moving day. We'll show you moving day. We'll show you, then we'll start a new series of, setting up the land and setting everything up there when we get there, moving everything around, everything we do. Listen, we're gonna start from the beginning and just keep moving forward. Everything we do, you guys are gonna see, and appreciate if you follow along. And for those of you new, hit the subscribe button. For those of you that are old, please hang in there with us. Like I said, videos will be coming. Get your friends in here, get your family, get everybody get them on here. If I can talk to the most people in the world and explain to them, this scenario, and make people see that it's. Oh, good job, buddy. You're gonna hand me a loan? Pops needs a loan for this land, son. Right. Cost money for all these preps I'm making here. You know what I mean?
But with that being said, it's starting to get dark out.
Yeah, it's starting to get dark out. We're gonna start
losing light.
Yeah, unfortunately. I like sitting here talking to you guys, and she's always yelling at me. She's yelling at me right now. See, that's just passive aggressive. You know what I mean? Look at that face. See?
Anyway.
But I'm not crazy. Not at all. No.
Anyway.
Any of you that know your significant other is always crazier than you are.
Okay, the dark doesn't bother me, kid. It's just the light we don't have.
Can't see very well out of the light.
Right. I can't see very well.
Yeah, right, Alex, tell him I need a loan too, bro. What's going on? But yeah, with the light, the camera won't be able to see so well. And I don't want to turn on the big light behind us, because then get all the bugs out, and then Odin will really knock us over.
Right.
But yes, guys, we will be making sure we document everything that we're doing, and I want to show people what it takes, and that you can do it on a little bit of a budget. We don't have much, but we still pay. We still have to pay for where we're living now every month. We still have to pay utilities and bills every month.
And you should have never posted that, bro.
I know, man. Everybody's hating you up, bro. But
right?
Just remember, I'm your dad, so I remember. I knew you before all them, right? But so we're gonna document everything, and I want people to learn, hopefully through us, you know, that you can do this, and if they decide to do it, they know they can. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, Wednesday, we'll do again Thursday. Let's just do Thursdays from now on.
Yeah.
Because Wednesdays are...
Wednesdays are bad.
Well, yeah, you're just catching up from the week
Right.
of work. And, you know, so every Thursday at 6:30, I'll make sure... Listen, we'll be here next week on time, guys. I promise. What? Oh, okay, let's get on.
All right, we're okay. With that being said, we are gonna go.
We're gonna go, and we will see you guys next Thursday, 6:30. I promise we'll be on time this time, guys.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if anybody knows me, they know that's probably a lie, but still, you know. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna get off of here, and we will talk to you next time. This is again, The Country Called Us.
And in the words of Jackson.
Peace
out and have a nice day.